There are a lot of resources for you this week as you begin drafting your first articles if you haven't already. And I just wanted to go through how to use them or some of the easier ways to get started. And I think the best way to start drafting is to go to the outline format options on Canvas. And this is a compilation of your responses for the reverse outline that we did from actual Scientific American articles. So these are the structures of current articles that are in Scientific American. So we know that they are fairly sound in the way they've been organized to include different things in a logical order, and that you could scroll through or look at the ones in the documents and choose which one works for your topic, or which combination of however many you see fit. You might mix and match anything that you know you have the content for, and seeing what order that might go in, what that looks like for your topic, and then it can help you start filling in the outline for your draft. So if this was the one I was going to use, I would copy and paste it into my document so that I have kind of that plan in there, and I know that I'm not going to have to just start with the blank document, which can be frustrating and intimidating at times. So once I have this, I usually like to go back into the annotated bibliography and see, what I'm going to be pulling from there. And typically what you're going to pull from there is the evidence, which is quotes, statistics, anything that you are going to be using from the scientific articles that you have read. So you'll pull that for as many sections as you need. And then also from your annotated bibliography, you will pull your credentials and the summary, because you have to provide this context before you introduce the quote, because readers want to know that this is a credible source. They want to see what the study was so that they understand or can begin to understand the results. So bringing that information in is going to help you to achieve citations, because we're also not going to be citing in the traditional sense. So all of that will give the reader's context. It will add to the ethos, credibility, reliability, and enhance the reader's perspective of the overall article and content. If you haven't looked yet at the paraphrasing and quoting examples in Canvas, you'll see that these are also from your submissions where you went through actual articles to see how they were citing the sources. And you will notice that there are not parenthetical citations at the end in any of the articles in Scientific American. And so you really have to introduce that information and cite it within the sentence, so that you're saying where they're from, who they are, what field the authors are in. Also talking about, how many participants, what kind of methods were in the study. That can go in your summary, and that also enhances your ethos and builds context for the readers. So looking at these, you can get a good idea of some different ways that you can include that information. You can definitely steal from this source in using your own, but saying, this study published in, maybe yours was in October and maybe it was in a different journal, is the result of a collaboration of, maybe it's just 10 scientists from 5 different countries. Even if it's much fewer than this, it's still interesting to include, rather than just one article that is from either one person or a group of people from the same department at the same university, because it just shows that they have some more checks and balances in place, that they're bringing in more perspectives to be working across locations, across universities and countries. So that's something else you can think about including. And, if it's helpful to get you started, you can copy and paste these in to your document as well to help you see, what you're going to be bringing in. And just kind of filling in the blanks that way is the easiest way to get started. Something else to think about is the meal format. And that is posted up on Canvas. This is just a great way to make sure that you are being really thorough in your paragraphs. So let's unnumber that so it's a little bit less confusing. If you were going to have a paragraph that talks about insights to the reader's understanding something, the meal format can help you to do that in a way that is thorough and complete. Oftentimes when we're writing, we assume the reader knows more than they do. Even the small things, we really have to state obviously. And that starts with the main idea or a topic sentence for your paragraph. Even just insights into understanding this concept are important because, so that your readers understand. Then you can bring in your evidence or your quote. Then you will bring in some interpretation of the quote. So really this is, especially if you've quoted it, a place to say it in a simpler way, because that's what our goal is, to show the science and then also to explain it and interpret it. So this section of the paragraph is usually 1 to 8 sentences, so it can be the heaviest part of the paragraph and it's the most important. And then you have another obvious statement linking to the next paragraph so that your readers know that this is why it's coming before it, that this is why it's important paragraph, this is why they need to have read it. All of those things reinforce their understanding and then their ability to continue reading because they see those connections, even though we think that that's something that's obvious to us because we already know the connections. We have them before we write them. So it's really just kind of going back to that and making sure you state it explicitly. If you want to keep it in outline format for the peer reviews, that's fine, especially if you are not sure about the structure, the order, or if you have questions, about certain pieces. So definitely feel free to keep it in outline format or put it into regular paragraph format. You don't need to start with an outline if you have a better way or your own way of starting a paper and writing a document. By all means, go for it. I just like to show this example that you can copy and paste things from your bibliographies, from the resources that we have online to get you started if you are struggling with that first piece, which is getting started is half the battle. So I hope this was helpful. Email me if you have questions as you are drafting or during peer reviews this week, and best of luck to you all.